Shoot. I think I forgot to do something.
Well,
Oh
I'm
well.
live in 57, 6, 9, 10, 12, 14. Oh.
We are live, and I totally forgot to put up the cover picture thing. So, either
Oopsie.
way.
All right, we'll go ahead and do it
Oopsies.
now and be like a nice proper show intro.
Yes, let's do the proper show thing. And we shall use, I don't know, this pretty one right here.
Okay. Yay. And 3, 2, 1.
Where did it go? There we go.
Everyone thinks because you're a zombie, you don't know good coffee. Well, they're wrong. There's only one brew that gets my seal of approval. Deadly Grounds coffee is my guilty pleasure. The aroma is so intoxicating. It brings all of my neighbors out of the woodwork. Deadly Grounds coffee. Coffee to die for and zombie approved. It's good to get a little deadly. Use the front door! Oh, they're so disgusting.
The Dorkening and all affiliated shows are not intended for anyone under the age of 18. The following may contain discussions or scenes that have adult situations, graphic violence, nudity, strong sexual content, and graphic language. This show is intended for mature audiences only. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hello, 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 and welcome back to another episode of Corpse Garden Chronicles. Hello, guys. How are you doing?
She did join. Yay.
Yes, I'm so sorry. I was running late.
That's okay. It's like we're running another show tonight, and I'm like, I didn't even know about it until earlier, and I'm like, but I'd already set it up, and you said nothing. It's like, what? But I'm so happy you guys are here.
Someone send me the link so I can send it out to people.
I did send the link. It's in the chat.
Where?
It's in the army.
Not the StreamYard link, for like YouTube and streaming on Facebook and all that.
Oh, that link. Would you rather YouTube or Facebook?
Either or.
Okay, that involves a minute. But either way, how are you guys? How is the new year treating you?
About the same as usual.
If I had to guess for Patty, I would say it's probably kicking her ass already, and we're barely not even out of February yet.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, believe me, it's been kicking my ass too, man. Whew, gosh.
The upside is, though, this looks like it's going to be a better year for me than last one, so there's that.
We can only hope. I figure out of the 42 roads that a man must walk down to call himself a man, that this is just one of those 42 roads I don't want to go down.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
I agree. It's already been an interesting beginning of the year.
Well, on the upside, I've already gotten my birthday present from my kiddo, which included some really neat fidget spinners. So,
yay! Fidget spinners, fidget toys are always a good idea.
Oh yeah. Well,
I think
he gave me the option of waiting. My birthday is not until the 13th of next month, but I was like, "Are you kidding? I want it now."
I don't blame you. So, how is writing going for both of you?
Is this a trick question?
That's what I was wondering. I mean, it's moving somewhat. Not as fast as I'd like it to.
Mine's going faster than I want it to because I'm on like my third death story within the last 2 weeks. And then I have another one I'm trying to finish.
That's
And I'm like,
awesome.
like, why is the poetry and death stories just going bleh?
Well, I did finish Agent Red for the anthology, so I mean that's a good thing. I wrote the flash fiction. Was it last night or the night before? Which I'm told that I'm supposed to read tonight on this very show. And just before the show started, I actually started on another story, which is going to be a ghost story. And let's see how far I am into it. It's not quite ready for prime time, but we are 1,453 words of 5 pages.
Not bad.
And I have yet to get back to writing the pirate novel, which I would like to have out by May. So somebody kick my ass into gear and make me finish that stupid thing.
Well,
my goal is to try to have it out in paperback format by Pirate Fest, the weekend of May 15th and 16th and 17th.
That's definitely doable if you can get it written.
Yeah, if I just write the damn thing.
Right. And
You're
if not
running
this year,
out of time.
definitely by next year. One of the two.
Yeah. Well, that's my goal for this weekend is to try to get more written on it. At least get it maybe a third or halfway done. I don't know how far along I am to it now. It's only about 12 or 13,000 words. So I still have another 35,000 words, I think.
My goal for this weekend is all publishing related. So I've got roughly for the anthology, right? You know, put it into place. And then I've got a book that the author has entrusted me with for over a year now, and I have just not been able to get it done for one reason or another. Jenny did most of the work for it on me, and I am so grateful for that. But he's kind of a little antsy because his book has not managed to get done yet. Then again, it was handed to me in a box, and I need to do the effort, and I have not had the ability to do the effort because of illness this past year. So I need to work on that.
Well,
I've tried my hardest.
Yes. Thanks to you, it's most of the way done. I just need to go through and finish putting in the words that you couldn't see because of scans and the pictures that didn't get in already, and go through and edit anything that needs editing. So.
Well, Patty, Hell's Dungeon is doing a St. Patrick's event for March 14th. Hint, hint, wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Unfortunately, the trip that I talked Joe into taking this year for our birthday is to Blackwater Falls. So I'm not going to be able to do that one. I'll probably be able to get them in there around Halloween like I usually do. But the birthday trip's going to be to Blackwater Falls because I've lived in West Virginia a good part of my life and not been able to get over to see that. So.
Well, I've never been to the Mothman statue.
I have been there. That one's fun. You ought to go see it.
Oh, I plan on it at some point. It's on my bucket list.
Yeah.
I'll just stick a quarter in his butt.
I want to get this year, if I can do it, I want to get to Blackwater Falls, and then I want to get to Trans-Allegheny, which is in the upper part of the state.
Yeah.
Because, well, going to an insane asylum that's been shut down for quite a while sounds like a blast to me.
Oh yeah, it is a blast. So, what did you think of the fan fiction Serena fairy world?
I love it. It's adorable.
That works. At least it's not offensive.
No. Even Joe thought it was cute.
Joe's in it. Like, I'd
I
leave
know.
him out.
I actually read one of the ones to him that he was in, and he's like, "What have you been telling her?" I said, "Just that Malachi was a good name for Serena's other half."
Like, I'd leave out your husband in something that is being written. Well, not husband, your boyfriend, about something being written with your significant other.
Yeah, because I'm not married and don't plan on getting married.
Well, I am. It's a good thing for me. It's not always a good thing for everybody, but at least
Yeah.
I got a chaos, and we've created chaos. So, okay, how about we do our first story? Who's first?
What you got lined up for us, Patty? I haven't heard any of your stories in so long. I'm curious.
Well, this one is Campfire Creepy, which is basically nicknamed Harvey.
Ooh.
It's something I've done before, but every time I do it, it's different. And I have had it on the mind, and it got a remake, basically, where I went in and added some to the story.
Ooh,
Ladies,
I can't
ladies
wait.
first. Nice setup.
Harvey is nearly home. The walls echo this nightly. Not sure who Harvey is, nor why I should care. But for the last week, it has been like clockwork echoing through the house that I just bought. Always as the midnight bells toll from the old clock built into the wall of the foyer. I should have questioned why this house was so cheap. I paid for what I felt like was a steal. Could Harvey have owned it before, or was he someone else? Always at midnight, just as I start to believe it's all in my head. I'm not usually the sort taken to over-imaginative flights. Still, I've recorded it. The recordings never seem as creepy as the sounds in person. It's nothing on the recording but static voices and the clock bells. It's so loud in person. Harvey is nearly home. It creeped me out, I tell you. Who was Harvey, and why should I care? But it matters. Others have heard it. Harvey is nearly home. Harvey will be here soon. So much more because the others have heard it. I invited a friend. Midnight a couple of days ago, my friend heard about Harvey and was gone the next morning. Nowhere to be found. They refused to answer their phone for me. I have been calling non-stop, hoping that they will answer. I even called the cops, asking for them to check on him, and they have not responded yet. The old house creaks strangely all night long. I should have looked into this house more before buying it. I thought it so beautiful with the Gothic design and blood-red walls. The carved wood in this house is masterwork. But what does it matter if I cannot sleep in the house? Harvey is nearly home. Harvey will be here soon. I find I'm too afraid to tell anyone else. So, if tomorrow I am gone, just know that Harvey came home.
I love that story.
Like I said, every time I read it, it ends up different.
Yes. The one I have in well, I don't know if I still have it. The one I have or had in published form is good because I know my kid stole one of the anthologies and gave it to her teacher. The one previously read is different. So yeah.
So is Harvey a invisible 6-foot rabbit?
I don't know. I still don't know what Harvey is. I suppose one of these times I'll figure that out. But
If you ever see him, then you're in trouble.
yep. It's just the reason I call it campfire creepy is because it reminds me of the old campfire stories.
Right.
You never really know what the ghost or whatever is. It's just there.
That's the kind of story where you have one of the campers jump out at everybody in a mask and scare the shit out of them
Oh yeah.
because they're unsuspecting. Oh yeah.
And because it's meant to be a campfire story, a lot of times it is going to be told differently no matter what's going on. It's going to be different because the person reading it's not necessarily going to have it in front of him. So,
True.
I like
So Ron, what's the name of yours?
it. Oh boy. I suppose it's a working title, but I couldn't think of anything better. So I call it The Window in My Room. And there's, as usual, a story behind this. All right. I awoke to a light flowing through the window in my bedroom. I was about to ignore it, turn over, and go back to sleep. But as I was pulling the blanket back around my shoulders, I was suddenly struck by one shockingly terrifying thought. My bedroom doesn't have any windows. I live in a low-rent tenant housing that has 4 one-bedroom apartments situated on a sublevel of a 5-story building. Below me were the building's heating and electrical units, and above me were 5 floors of other dingy, poorly maintained apartments. But it was all I could afford as a college student trying to develop independence from on-campus student housing. Along with the 4 other apartments on this sublevel, my apartment was underground. There are no windows. As the polar plunge of icy chill submerged my body in goosebumps, my heart raced inside my chest. I was instantly awake. I turned back over to gaze at the mysterious window again. From my angle in the bed, I could make out the perimeter, but it seemed skewed, as it was not perfectly symmetrical. A bright white light flowed through it. Even though an ice-cold fear took its grip on me, I found I could not help myself. The urge to crawl out of bed to investigate was too strong. I slowly took my feet, shivering. I pulled my blanket tighter around me. I felt the sudden urge to pee, but it would have to wait. I crept closer to the window that had randomly appeared in my subterranean apartment. I stood directly in front of it. To call it a window in the traditional sense of the word, with glass panes and cross borders, nice decorative wood edging, and billowy curtains, as one might expect to see in a normal window, would be a misnomer. This was merely an opening, the rough shape and size of a window. It was indeed slightly skewed, as the edges were not exactly 90 degrees. Through the window was a vast expanse of pure, blinding white, so bright that I could see no line separating wall from ceiling from floor. I had to squint at the brightness, but it did not take my eyes long to adjust. Just as I had felt the urge to investigate the window, I was then filled with another urge. As slowly as I had approached the window, I raised my arms to reach out. I don't know what I expected. I stuck my hand directly into the whiteness. It was cold, but not entirely unpleasant. I slid my arm further, just past the wrist. Again, cold, but not intolerable. Then further still, now up to the elbow. Then a little more, now almost up to my bicep. And then I felt it. A sudden, cold, burning sensation took over my arm like a bad case of frostbite, only infinitely worse pain. I yelped as I reflectively withdrew my arm. I clutched my arm close to my body as I rubbed it vigorously with my other hand. Once the feeling began to subside, I inspected my arm. There on my forearm were long black freeze marks that very much resembled fingers. Yet again, another wave of icy fear shot through me. I looked back to the white void, and that's when I saw them. Humanoid figures, translucent gray shadows that barely stood out against the brightness of the white. They began slowly appearing one by one. There must have been at least a dozen, with more appearing. They were getting larger, and as they drew closer, the gray of their form grew more solid. I could not make out any details. Maybe there weren't any details to make out, but they moved slowly and lumbered as they grew ever closer to the window opening. Their arms and legs were long and thin, as if Slender Man could cast a shadow. The fear was now so loud inside my head it was beating a rhythmic pattern. I ran back to my bed and jumped in, burying my head as far as I could under my blanket and pillows. But even through the blanket, I could tell the whiteness was growing brighter in my room. I forced myself to peek out from my coverings. I wish I hadn't. The gray form was now sticking a long, thin leg through the window opening, its long, slender fingers gripping the edge. Its torso was halfway through, and as it manifested itself inside my room, the gray of its form slowly blended into a deep, dark Vanta black. There was no reflection of light, no indication if its form was solid. It was a living, moving shadow, and I only wish that had been it. Now, as the form stood towering above my bed in my room, I noticed two very real, very disturbing features. Its eyes glowed with that same piercing white from within the void, and the teeth. While it had no discernible mouth, it had two long rows of sharp, pointed teeth that were blood red, and it smiled. I know I should have run, done something, screamed, yelled for help. But as more of the figures crawled through the window, its gazing, glowing eyes caused fear to paralyze me. My throat tightened up. I could not make a sound. I could only lie there in frozen, terrified helplessness as the first of the figures approached me. It reached out its long, terrible fingers as its mouth stretched open to an impossible width, the blood red of its teeth getting ever closer to my face. All I could do was watch. My urge to pee suddenly eased as I could feel the warm liquid saturated the blanket around me. But I had no time to think about that as the blackness of its mouth encompassed my head and the tips of its blood-red teeth began to tear at the flesh of my neck.
Okay, that was
That
cool.
was really good, and that would be scary to feel in person. You said there was a story?
Yes. Because my brain works in mysterious ways that nobody has yet to explain to me. When you made a post to the group chat asking if anybody had a story or was willing to read for Friday night, my brain began cogitating possible story ideas, something that I could write. And for whatever reason, I settled on 2-sentence horror stories. I'm sure a lot of people are familiar with these, the 2-sentence horror stories. And
one of my favorite Reddit subreddits.
Absolutely. And some of them, they're just great. And there's even a TV series that they had made called Two Sentence Horror Stories, where they would do the first sentence at the beginning of the show, and then you watch the story play out, and then at the end of the episode they give you the second sentence. And the one that I was thinking about was I awoke to a light coming through my bedroom window, and then I remembered my bedroom doesn't have windows. I felt like this was a good writing prompt. If you were to expound upon it, where would that lead? So
That's awesome.
This whole story was prompted and inspired by a 2-sentence horror story. I just wanted to play it out and see what would it be. And this is what I came up with.
Pretty awesome.
That was a great story. I love both of y'all's story. I suppose it's my turn, huh?
That's usually how it
So-
works.
I'm going to read Copes of Corpses. I had been trying to think of different cryptids that people could die from the encounters of. I've done Why You Shouldn't Whistle in the Forest, and it's just the different death stories keep coming. This one's about Spearfinger. Yeah, I'm going to probably say Rob Smales is definitely got a better Spearfinger story. But as we proved in an episode of Owlite Society, we can write about the same subject but have wildly different stories come from it. And I love his story. I recommend Spearfinger, but let me know what you think about mine. She didn't understand why the grown-ups did not make sense. They said her mom's lungs stopped working. They said her mom's COPD caused them to be broken. They could not tell her how. Their why did not make any sense. It might be because she was sick. She couldn't tell. Daddy was busy. No one of the other aunts or uncles would talk to her. Mommy's new bed was at the funeral home. Mommy fell over in the living room and was choking. It kept playing in... Why is this mouse not working? It kept playing in her head like a movie. She smiled and stopped moving. Granny did a chest-pushing thing and tried to breathe in her mouth. She was crying so hard as she did it. The people Daddy called came. They took her away, and Daddy went with them. He came back without Mommy. Everyone who came today kept saying they were sorry. She decided to leave the house and walk in the woods. It was quieter in there anyway. Just the bugs. There we go. Just the bugs and animals, the wind and the leaves. It was nice not to be surrounded by people who only came over once a year. She walked and enjoyed the evening sun. The world was very pretty as the leaves changed for fall. As it started getting dark, she realized the trees were closing in around her, and she wasn't paying attention to how far she'd gone. As she tried to figure out which way she needed to go, she heard a familiar sound. Ladybug, is that you? It was coming from her right. Can Mom have come to find her in the woods? Were the grown-ups playing a game? Come to Mama, Ladybug. We can go home and I will make you dinner. She was so happy when she saw her. She ran into her mama's arms. She hugged her so tight. The hair didn't feel soft and she smelled bad. What happened to the perfume that smelled like baby powder? Suddenly she felt a sharp pain. She stood beside the monster holding what looked like her. It was as tall as her father with long white stringy hair. Its blue dress was old and worn over its dirty tan skin. All of its fingernails were long except for one. That left pointer finger was as long as a carving knife. It put the doll thing that looked like her on her shoulder and walked further in the forest. She stood there crying confused, not understanding what happened. Ladybug, please turn around. That sounded like Mama, too. She turned around to see her Mama and a man in a suit and a long coat. It felt like her Mama this time. She ran to her and her Mama picked her up. She hugged her tight. Her brown hair was soft and tickled her nose again. She smelled like her perfume. The hug felt safe and warm. Are you really my Mama? She asked her as she pulled back and a bit of her face pulled back a bit and peered in her face. Her Mama set her on the ground and knelt in front of her. Yes, baby, you died. Why? They said that's what you did. And you got a new bed at the funeral home. Yes, baby, I'm here to take you with me. Her Mama smiled and put her hand out. Ladybug took it with a smile. Why do I feel funny? And who is that man? She asked as she looked up at the disheveled man in the suit and long coat. He looked down at the small girl with a smile, hand rubbed over his short, bearded chin. You feel funny because you're no longer in your body. I am Death. I'm here to help you get to your next adventure. He tried to be as comforting as possible. Did that scary monster take my body? Ladybug asked as she looked to where she used to be standing. Yes, it did. Death's brow furrowed as he thought. Can we do anything to stop it? Mom asked, looking at him worried. Yes. I was thinking about a local coven that can come take care of this problem. They will stop it and make sure there aren't any more in this area. A coven of witches? She asked, horrified. I don't know what you have been taught. I will not argue about that. These ladies and gentlemen do a lot to take care of your community and do not harm unless forced. They will take care of this and help us find the bones of the other missing children. His face turned stern and resolute. The mother brushed her long brown hair out of her face and shook her head. Yes, thank you. It scares me to know other kids may have been taken. I do not understand witches and will trust your judgment. She said with a sigh, understanding she did not understand the world around her the way she thought she did. She looked down at Ladybug. Do you think you understand enough to let your mama take you to your new home? Ladybug nodded and gripped her mom's hand tighter. Death's hands waved. Death waved his arm. A large portal appeared. A blue circle with white wisps stood before them. This will take you to your new adventure, he assured the little one. They stepped through, and he watched a couple of seconds to make sure they got through safely. After that, he shut the portal and blipped to his next task.
Oh, that was sweet. Kind of scary, but sweet.
Yeah, it was sort of based on what happened to my mom. And me wandering around in a forest as a kid in the Tennessee mountains.
Yeah, that's a good way to get caught by a cryptid.
I'm not saying it's not, but also that's where the thought of the story came from. What cryptids are known for around where I was from.
Well, I think it's interesting because listening to No Sleep podcast and Chilling Tales for Dark Nights and all of the other podcasts that we engage in with horror stories. All the stories that we hear about cryptids are usually more adult based. I think this is the first time I've ever actually heard a children's story that deals with cryptids and approaching the subject of death, which a lot of kids don't understand. So I think the story is actually kind of it's well done in the way that it's written for being for a younger audience to kind of explain death and introduce the idea of cryptids.
Yeah, I tried to give my daughter something around her age, but also let it be scary. But I'm still not sure if it's too scary for her.
I don't know,
I
man.
haven't
You
let her
might be
read it
onto
yet.
something here. You could be onto something here. A whole line of children's books of horror stories, but written for children.
I've already got at least 2 others that I know of. I am still working from that. I had watched so much death as a kid, either watched people die or go to their funerals, that I wondered what it would be like to try to help them work through it in a story from a kid's point of view. Or what could happen if that ghost in the house did get what we thought she wanted as a kid. Or stuff like that. Or if the ghost could keep her friend from dying like she did.
Well, it's like with R.L. Stein and the Goosebumps stories. Even those are written for older kids, that are probably more in the preteen to teen level. And this one, it seems like it's written for even younger than that. And I don't think there's a lot of literature out there like that. So
That's because a lot of parents are afraid to let their kids deal with topics like that. And realistically,
yeah, but if they had literature like this, maybe they wouldn't be so afraid of approaching topics like this with their kids, because it'd be a good way to introduce them.
oh, I agree with you. That
Jenny might be onto something here.
yeah.
I know a publisher.
Yeah,
You
she
do.
has published some of them. And she is going to publish this one. This is in transitions that I am currently working on. I've got 2 more stories to put in it. One of the stories that's going into it is actually going in the anthology that comes out in May. At least that's what the publisher said.
Well, if the publisher said it, I think you could probably count on that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Janie, your kid does art, she, draws and stuff like that, right? But, why not have your child illustrate the story for you and then put it all together in a children's picture book?
That would be interesting. Although she and my son has been accepted too. His first time being published.
Yeah.
That's going to be awesome.
Then again, all of her kids, their art is kind of amazing.
I mean, you got the whole package right there. You just put it together and put it out there.
Yeah, I'll have to see if she's wanting to draw a picture for it. Because what she's been wanting to draw lately has not been like what she used to want to draw. But she's been working on her skill. So, I don't know.
And
I have been asking her to...
Amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. She's getting better as we go.
Show her some children's books, with the illustrations and how each page has a different illustration for the actions that are taking place in the story, and see if she wants to do something like that for this story.
I think she actually gets to see that on a regular basis because her kids have gotten to see some of my kids' books that I've done.
Oh, yeah.
There you go. Make it happen. Or as Picard would say, make it so.
Yeah. Stickers hate me. My kid gave me a whole bunch of stickers for my birthday, and I'm trying to get them on my computer, but they hate me to back won't peel off of them right now.
I know that feeling. Okay. My next question is, what is your next story going to be, guys? Do you know?
You mean once? Go ahead, Patty.
Sorry. I'm still working on works in progress. I've got. I do have a story I'm working on for the fall anthology. That might turn out decent. I don't know. It's got a different feel to it than my normal, so we'll have to see. But other than that, Frosty has been calling my name again lately, so I'm not in the mood for new stories. I've got enough.
I like to get through my back catalog of story ideas that I have started, at least.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at.
That's what I'm trying to do.
Yeah. For me, I mean, once I get past the pirate novel, I've got an endless amount of story ideas that I want to work on, but I think the next one will most likely be another story collection, and it will either be one another collection of short stories, original short stories that all deal with the theme of skewed or altered perceptions of reality. Everything, it's based on reality, but one thing is slightly skewed or slightly altered, so it's not quite what it should be. So all the stories will revolve around that particular theme, and most likely none of them will be horror related, which is entirely the reason why I want to try to put that book together. So
yeah, because so far you've had a dystopian end of the world kind of apocalypse thing, and then your first one was all horror related. So,
and the pirate story is also horror related as well. So I'm batting 1,000 right now in terms of horror.
yeah, but that's not a bad thing,
Well, Agent Red wasn't horror. Agent
No,
Red was kind of action fantasy,
which was kind of cool, and it was definitely different for you. That's first off. When I do the anthologies, I tend to try and put them in alphabetical order as much as possible.
Mm-hmm.
But there are times when it also goes into what's going to be the strongest lead in the anthology.
Mm-hmm.
And Agent Red definitely had a stronger lead than some of the others.
I'll take that as a compliment.
It was meant as one.
But Alan the Mouse from our Owlite anthology, that wasn't really horror related either.
No, that was very much action. And
Killing
fantasy.
Maze was not really horror related. It was more, espionage action as well. So, you know, I can branch out. I just want to let people know that I'm perfectly capable of writing other things aside from horror. The problem is that my mom is my biggest fan, and she says that she would read absolutely everything that I would put out, but she doesn't like horror. So I need to give her something to read.
Yeah, my mother complained about the same thing. I write kids' books, I write poetry, and I write horror. And she said, "Why can't you write something I actually read?"
So I called my mom, I called my parents, and I read this story that I read tonight. Window in my bedroom. I read it to them over the phone, as I usually do with a lot of the stories that I write. And my mom said, "It was good, but then you got weird. And that's where you lost me."
But you played into the genre there. So
I said, Mom, that's the point. It's horror. It's supposed to do something like that. She goes, but why do you write horror? You didn't live horror. I'm like, well, I'm sure J.K. Rowling didn't go to a university for wizards either, but here we are. George R.R. Martin didn't go to whatever the name of that world was.
Yeah.
He didn't know. He didn't train dragons or get into the civil wars or anything like that. Yet here we are. He's got like 5, 6, 7 books published on the dang thing. So Stephen King, he never had a car that would regenerate itself and go around killing people, but yet here we are. Why do people have the ideas that they have, or why do they write the stories that they do? Nobody can understand what drives them. That's how the brain works. And like I said, nobody can explain it to me.
It's a matter of where your imagination goes. And you have a very active imagination, as do a lot of the better writers.
I have been told that I have an active imagination. People ask me, where do you get inspired with all of this stuff? I was like, because my brain never really sleeps. I can't just flip a switch and shut it off.
I have spent way too many years being awake to actually let my brain sleep now.
People say, how do you get inspired to write this with endless amounts of caffeine and lack of sleep?
Oh, yeah. It's like the story I was writing today. I was walking back to the trailer from dropping the kids off at the bus stop, and I stopped and I was looking at the pool, and I'm like, what happens if somebody just falls asleep and doesn't wake up on one of the lounging chairs at the pool? And death comes to get him or her. And I wrote that. What happens if a resident resident passes away in their sleep at the nursing home and goes to get coffee with their friend in the morning like normal? How would that play out? What happens if Sage and Serena meet?
Oh, now that would be fun.
Oh, yeah. I have that.
One of my friends on Facebook, and she's an editor, Lily Lucchese, she commented about how weird her conversations go sometimes, that, talking to her, you might end up in a conversation about how to turn humans into soap. And that sent me down a rabbit hole. Now I've got a idea, and I'm not sure if I'm going to get to it anytime soon, but the idea is the Blood Countess bathing with more than just human blood, human soap as well.
That's why her skin looks so nice.
So rabbit holes end up making the most interesting ideas sometimes.
I met a musician from New Jersey. His name is Danny Danzy. He has several CDs out, one of which is called Welcome to Danzyland. And we're chatting online one day because I've recorded a couple of songs myself, but I don't know that much about recording and producing music. So everything I do is usually low quality. It's not ready for prime time. It would never sell or make it to the radio play. But Danny's stuff is polished. It's excellent work. It's the kind of music you would expect to be played on public radio. And he asked me, how many songs have I written? I said, I don't know, maybe 20, between 20 and 30, something like that. And he goes, I've written thousands, but only a small percentage of them are actually worth producing and putting out there. I said, well, when you write your music, when you record it, do you have to sit there for hours trying to figure out what the next part of the song is going to be? like, because that takes me forever. I'm not an accomplished musician. I can play, but I'm not great. He goes, no, usually when I have a song idea, it just comes in my head fully formed. So when I sit down and record it, I know exactly what I want, where I want it, and how I want it to sound. I said, I can't do that. I've
Me
got to
neither.
play with it in order to get it to be what I want. And sometimes I'm experimenting, playing with it on the fly to see what comes up. Well, the same process applies to story writing as well.
Hmm.
Like, there are sometimes I will get a story idea and it will just come to me fully formed. I know what the entire plot is, what the beginning is going to be, what the end is going to be, what the resolution is going to be, but how I get from A to B is what can vary. How I get from beginning to end is what can vary. And I won't know that until I sit down and I start writing it. And that's where I have a little bit of flexibility, a little bit of leeway in the words. As long as I get to the ending that I have in my mind, then the story gets written and it's fully formed. Sometimes it's only an inkling of an idea, which I think, I should work on that and expound it into something.
Yeah.
This story with the window in my bedroom, since it evolved from a 2 sentence horror story, it did not have a resolution at first. It did not have an ending. I just used the 2 sentences as a writing prompt and played with it from there. Last entry of Grant Gilson, I had the concept of the void first, but I had no idea where I was going with it. And that story went through a lot of rewrites until I finally settled on where it actually went. And then it was a matter of what can I put next? What can I put next? What can I put next? And it was a lot of brainstorming to get to that point.
You know,
So,
it's funny you speak about songwriting. I have written exactly one song, and I was proud of that because that song was kind of cool.
mhm.
But I had somebody tell me, "Well, you write poetry all the time. Isn't songs just another form of poetry?" Yes and no, because the song has to have the music behind it. It has to have the beat behind it. There is a type of poetry called lyrics that, that's where songs and music come from in poetry, but that's not necessarily the same thing. And a lot of people don't understand that. And it is so much harder to write music than it is to write poetry. It's so much harder to write anything you're not used to. And
It's so much
make,
harder to write poetry, period, in my opinion. Uh, Prose, I'm good with, but when I sit down and try to think up a poem and write it down, it's just, is this good? Is this good? Is this good? I don't know. I haven't had to write poetry since I was in college taking creative writing classes, and
I end
poetry
up
was
going on
never really
rants
my
about it.
forte.
Yeah, I end up going on rants about it. Poetry does not have to rhyme. It doesn't have to be this all-encompassing thing that people seem to think it is. All it has to do is convey emotion. You have to make the words convey the thought you have when you're writing it. And if you do that, then you've written poetry. It it is not necessarily got to be something that is all encompassing. Oh, it has to have this rhythm, it has to have this amount of syllables, or it does if you're following a form.
Yeah.
And I recommend everybody try forms at least once. But I'm a free verse poet. I
The
put my
legend of
words down as I mean them.
the legend of Wolfric the Wanderer, which was published in what was it, Onward Adventure, I think.
Yeah.
The legend of Wolfric the Wanderer. It's a wonder that ever got written to begin with, because it is metered, it is structured. It does have a scansion with a certain number of syllables per line. Granted, it changes a little bit, but the rhyme scheme essentially stays the same. Because once I figured that out and I was able to keep it that way, then it was just a matter of how do I progress through the story and still keep this same rhyme scheme and this same meter. Uh, so the fact that there's 3 different poems and they're roughly, what is it, like 400 lines or something like that.
Something like that, yeah.
The fact that it's as long as it is and still metered and structured, that to me is it's a wonder that it ever came about, because
You did
I don't
wonderful
consider
with
myself a poet, but it's a great series of poems.
Well, I end up being a poet first and a prose writer second, because a lot of times my editors have fun with this. A lot of times when I write something, I will write it like I'm writing a poem, unintentionally, because that's just how I've been writing for so long. So I've had editors go through and go, did you mean it to be this way? And switch the words around for me, because I will literally go and this sentence will be backwards, because that's how it would be in the poem if I were writing the poem.
I think we've kind of gone off of Corpse Garden Chronicles to more like Unwritten Pages.
Probably.
Sorry,
at this
Judy.
point, I'm just happy to be here. And yes, I have written all the forms. I get graded on all the forms. Been there, done that. I don't know where they went. I've only been able to find quite a few. Well, not quite a few, but maybe 5 of them since then. And all but one was put in that first volume, and the newest one you saw in this new volume. Well, not the newest, but one of the other ones I found has been put in this new volume. But I like free verse better. It's easier for me.
It is.
And
Yeah. Well,
I'm
I
tired
think free verse is better for a lot of people because, they may not have the vocabulary in order to make words rhyme.
Yeah, but as you saw from the screenshots we sent you, I am working on teaching them first. Soapy, well, you saw Soapy's homework.
Yeah.
She's learning about the different types of poems, but she's like, hey, Patty's a poet, because apparently you're a better poet than I am. I did not take that offensively.
I've been writing it forever, so I take it as a compliment. It means that somebody actually likes what I'm writing. So
as long as you know, I love it, but my kid said you were a better poet than I am, and I'm like, I can't deny that, but I still got to help you with this because she's not here, but can we share them with her? Yeah. So I took a picture and sent them.
Which I love. I absolutely adore getting those, because those are just the highlight of my day. So,
but she's learning. She's getting there. And then there was a few of them, but I'm like, okay, I know what you say it's supposed to be, but I, for the life of me, cannot figure out how this poem is what you're saying it is supposed to be, because it's like they'll give us a poem, random poems, and this is this type of poem. Where is this in the poem? And I'm like, it's not. And then I'll bring up, but it was here, and I'm like, how far are you reaching to get that?
I am of the opinion that writing prose and writing poetry are 2 different headspaces.
yes.
And you need to be able to switch into that headspace in order to write whichever one you're wanting to write. Now, being a martial artist, I equate this to sparring versus kata or forms. You cannot approach how you practice sparring the same way that you approach practicing forms, because they are 2 different things. You can use some of the same principles between the 2, but inherently they are two different things. You might
Yes.
use the same techniques in both of them, but you approach each of them differently.
And
So
even still, in writing prose, it also depends on the sort of prose you're writing, because writing romance versus writing horror, there is a definite divide between them. And understanding that divide will tell you where you fall on being able to write it. I can write romance, but I struggle with it. Horror comes easier.
I've never written romance, but of course I follow Book Talk on TikTok where they do all the spicy dark romance and the different creatures and the adult scenes and the graphic language that they use, which to me it seems like it would be hella fun to write. And I totally want to try the challenge just to see if I could actually do it.
You could.
Without like cracking myself up and like this is shit. It's like
I know
just
you
want to
could
try
do it.
writing it just to see if I can do it. But if I ever did and other people read it and they liked it and they wanted me to publish it, I would have to do it under some other name
because it would embarrass you otherwise. I understand
right?
that.
It's like this is the secret catalog nobody's supposed to know about. No, I don't know who that person is.
I understand that. The first time that I was actually asked to write a romance story, it kind of caught me off guard because I'm sitting there going, I can't do this. Oh my God, what am I expected to do with this?
But it was really good. I enjoyed it.
I know, but it was embarrassing to me because it was not something that I was expecting to be able to write ever.
I feel like there's only so many times you can use the description throbbing and pulsating and velvet steel.
True, but also I've read some of the ones on Book Talk just to be like, what the hell? And it doesn't always have those words in it. I can honestly say I don't remember seeing velvet steel in anything.
Honestly, I've been reading romance for longer than I've been reading most things because when I was a kid, the way they shut me up was they handed me a book, and 9 times out of 10, the easiest book to get their hands on was a romance novel. So they were handing me romance novels when I was like 7 or 8 years old.
Well, I mean, the Harlequin romance novels like they used to sell on the 5 and dime stores that all had Fabio on the cover with his long golden hair.
Yeah.
Those were, to me, they were the epitome of like softcore porn, like Skinamax Friday nights, where that started at 11 o'clock at night, and there would be all these hot, romance scenes, but you never actually see anything happen. It's just to get you turned on and tease you so that you and your partner can get in the mood, but nothing ever happens. But now the dark, spicy romance books that people are coming out with that are being advertised on Book Talk have gone way beyond that. They pushed the envelope about as far as it can go. And the fact that they keep still coming up with new shit, it's like, what freaking kind of fetishes are you people into?
Don't ask that question. Don't ask that question.
You don't want to know that answer.
If it can be imagined, it's on the internet.
Oh boy, I'm sure.
We will not discuss any AO3 tags here, okay?
Hey, we've got the disclaimer 18 plus at the beginning of the show, so.
True.
I want anybody to know what I'm into.
There's only one person allowed to know that until you get the second partner. Then that other partner can know.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Yeah, I don't see myself writing those kinds of stories, but I mean, damn if I don't want to try just for the challenge,
Oh, it's definitely a challenge. Like I said, mine would be my romance stories tend to be a little bit lower on the spice level when I do write them, and the one time I tried to write anything more, it still, I think, was on the lower end of the book that it was published in.
The really funny thing is where they put it in the book.
Yeah.
Because it's further back than you would expect. Because at the front it's the lower spice and farther back is the higher spice. And yours ended up pretty darn far in the higher spice.
Right. And, well, I didn't think it had that much spice personally.
Yeah.
The most that it was bodily description, I would say. So, but
anyway,
death and horror are so much easier to write about.
It is, because with horror, it doesn't matter if you are dealing with something that's less detailed. You can let the person's imagination take over and it works better. With romance, it doesn't quite work as well. If you let the person's imagination take over, it sometimes acts like you're not giving enough description at that point. So,
show don't tell.
Yeah. Whereas with horror, you can get away with a little bit more, here's the scene, and just leave it at that. I don't know if that makes any sense, but...
Yeah.
I think that the trick is finding the boundary of, here it is in your face, blatantly in your face, but it's so subtle that you don't realize it's in your face.
Yeah.
That's the challenge.
But I think that's a challenge for any writer.
That is a puzzle for a different night. Or as Larry Correa would say, it's a conundrum.
I love that guy. He has so much fun.
It's a conundrum.
Okay, guys. We've been on for a little bit over an hour. And I am so happy that you guys have come. I've been wanting to do another show. I've been trying to talk people into an Owlite Society, but the usual people keep finding other things. So either way, but this show, it's mine. Yay. Thank you for being here.
I'm glad I could get this story out because it was killing me.
Understandable.
Yeah, I am so sorry I was running late, guys, because I meant to be here a few minutes before, but...
And you were right on time. You made it right by the end of the opening sequence, so you weren't really that late.
Yeah. I was just afraid that you were going to cancel on me again, and I was going to be a sad panda.
No, I asked you to include me this time, so I wouldn't cancel. It just... like I said...
I will email you the story so you can use it in the newsletter and see where it goes from there.
That helps because we really do
Sounds
need
like
more
a plan
stuff for the newsletter. We get poetry all the time for it, but sometimes the art and stories are a little lacking.
Oh. Well, we got art. We have art through at least 4 or 5 more months, but stories, not so much.
I'm actually thinking about making the 2-sentence horror story writing prompts a thing, and maybe try a few other ones to see what other stories I can come up with to try to write some flash fictions for them.
That would be wonderful.
That would rock. Please do.
Yeah.
All right.
So, I guess let's say good night, everybody.
Night,
everybody. Happy trails to you till we meet again.
Oh, that is pretty.